was growing up, as the nice eastern settlers are moving west, and all of a sudden they're being raided in by Indians. What was the real story? Was it the Indians that were attacking all the time, the Westerners moving west, or was it the other way around?
Well, I think it's pretty much the other way around, right? I mean, these are people who are in their home territories, and they look up, and all of a sudden they're seeing, a huge wagon train full of immigrants coming through their territory. What happens a lot is they ride down and they say, okay, you're going to cross our land, we're going to charge you a toll, we're going to charge you a fee, and of course Americans don't want to be charged a fee, and you get certain kinds of conflicts that go on there. We haven't really told is the story of what happens in the West during the Civil War. And the Civil War is such an important watershed in American history, and of course it helps us to think about things only in terms of the North and the South. But if we imagine or we think about what happened in the West during the Civil War, the Minnesota Uprising, and the resulting military campaigns across North and South Dakota. The Navajo Long Walk, in which Navajo people were basically removed from their land and marched over to a kind of terrible place in New Mexico. The Bear River Massacre, in which 300 people were killed by militias. Sand Creek Massacre. There's so much violence that is militia-based and also state military-based that happens in the 1860s during the Civil War. And this leads to a large amount of sort of clearances of Native people and sets the stage for a really short burst in the 1860s and 70s, where the United States Army comes in and basically mops up the rest of the West.
During this period of time, the 1860s, 70s, and 80s, a lot of treaties were entered into between, let's say, the U.S. government, or let's say states and territories, and local tribes or local Indian groups. Were they honored by the tribes, or were they honored by the U.S. government? Or who broke those treaties typically?
Well,